I was 18 years old when I joined the Marine Corps. Of course, we had to go at 18. We had to be either in the draft or in the list or something. When we got into the Marine Corps, much of it was just to learn to obey. They were very strict. I don't think we even thought about combat or war, really, because they absorbed all of our time. You can't help but worry about it, and you can't help be nervous, even right in the beginning. They take you down to the mess hall aboard ship, and they give you a big breakfast that morning. And we had some wise guy who said, the condemned men ate a hearty meal. That doesn't make you feel too good. And we got in our Higgins boat, and we had to go around and around in circles because we couldn't get in. So we were out there probably 3 hours, and a lot of guys were getting sick, nauseous, thrown up right over the gunwales. But it was everybody's nervous, no matter if you'd been in combat before or not. Those of us hadn't, we didn't know what to expect, and those guys that had been knew what to expect, and it was worse for them maybe even than us. But you were always nervous, and if you weren't scared, you weren't human. You know, when we first hit it, well, they for a long time they let a lot of our guys in, and when we finally landed, we talked to some of those guys. They said, "Boy, we're glad to see you guys. We thought we were done." But they hit us pretty hard when we came in. I mean, we lost a lot of guys right away. I was what they call a runner, who takes messages from the lieutenant to the squad leaders and so on. Then we had two of them. One of them was killed right there as we came in. And practically the second day, I think we lost 5 men just like that, just in the minutes. We were out there a couple of minutes. We lost our lieutenant and 4 other guys. Well, the landscape of Iwo Jima was a horror. It looked like something out of, I don't know, outer space. It was like a moon or something. It was horrible. It had a terrible smell. It was just this lava ash was like on the beach and everything, and it was terrible to operate with. And it was almost stark. There wasn't hardly any trees, except that this big mountain there, 556 feet high. It was really grim. Well, it was very difficult to fight on Iwo Jima because you never saw anybody. You never saw the enemy. Only twice did I see anyone. About the third or fourth day I saw them coming into our lines there, and I told our platoon sergeant, he said, "No, that's I Company," which was another company in our battalion coming in to bolster us, I guess, but it wasn't. It was the Japanese. And the second time I saw any live ones was when they had a banzai charge the day I got wounded, coming at us for hollering and with swords and guns and every other thing. There was only 3 of us guys there, a lieutenant and a sergeant and myself, to fight them off. So that was a pretty tough thing right there to see. We saw a lot of dead ones, and that was horrible to see too. I was on Iwo for 14 days, and then I was wounded on March the 3rd. It was a Japanese hand grenade, and the feeling of it was terrible. I mean, it felt like you were hit by a truck, and if you ever stick your finger up into a open socket without a bulb in there, it gives you a terrible jingling. Well, that's what that felt like too. I think I passed out for a while, how long I don't know, and then our Navy corpsman came to take care of me. He did what he could for me, although I don't remember what he did. But then he was shot, and he went, I'm hit. He was shot about 4 times in the abdomen. And he said, "I'm leaving to go back. Our lines had gotten pulled back a bit." And I said, "No, stay here." He said, "No, I'm going back." He went back, even though wounded. He saw another wounded Marine. And he went to help him, and while he was doing that, he was shot in the head and killed, and he received the Congressional Medal of Honor. And he was really a great guy. Those corpsmen were incredible to come out and take care of a guy who'd been wounded, because they could get the same thing. Well, our company, H Company, had 240 men, And 54 of us, 54 of them were killed. 143 were wounded, and there were 43 men that weren't wounded or killed. So it was really, every time you turned around, it seemed like another guy was gone. And it was so messed up that, you know, we had corporals leading the platoons and everything else. It was just really a tough spot. Well, we were shipped to the Philadelphia Naval Hospital. It was a beautiful, big, new hospital there in Philadelphia. And a general came in from the Marine Corps and pinned the Purple Heart on me. And I don't know what he said, but we were too much beat up to care whether we got anything. And one of his aides, no, I guess it was a Red Cross nurse or something like that, but she came to me and said, "Did you write to your mother?" I said, "Well, I did when I was still on Iwo. We all told her, and I wrote and said it was really tough, but we came through fine. I guess I thought it was the end." Well, I wrote a letter then from her, dictated it to this woman because I was flat in my back. And Mary came down, my wife, later, but she came down to the hospital with these mercy nuns, and they were always talking to us, the nuns were. So I met Mary at the hospital. I made sure that I went to college there to be with her, because I thought if I went back to Chicago, well, she'd be gone and marry somebody else. So I made sure that she was mine, I guess.